Hey guys, welcome to the Not Again podcast. This is Gary here. How have you guys been? I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you guys are doing fine. Welcome to my show. Welcome to my podcast. How have you guys been? Alright, I would like to first welcome everyone. Alright, for those who are new, welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay. For those who have been here more than once, welcome back. Alright, welcome to this podcast. Then you think that maybe I should listen to it one more time. Right, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Right, thank you. For those who are, I would like to first apologize that I didn't upload any episode last week, and this week I'm late as well. I've broken a lot of rules in this podcast, which I tell myself I should be a little bit more consistent with. All right, I'm I got no excuses for that. All right, I would want to give myself a reason to, but I couldn't. I think I don't know, man. I really don't know. I think it's because I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure this is a good excuse. I'm not sure this is a good reason to. All right, I believe that I shouldn't give any excuses if I did anything wrong. Right. But this last 2 weeks, everything has been a blur. Right. It's overwhelming for me, and I don't know what had happened. Alright, I'm not sure whether I'm handling the 2 weeks very well. Everything's very busy, everything has been a mess. Right, everything has been through a blur. Right. It's like I have friends who are moving away from Singapore. I have friends who's moving away from the place that I'm staying in this country that I'm staying to maybe somewhere that's a little bit out of the country, right? So and I've then it's I think as a friend I should help out, and I've done my way to help out. I'm not sure whether I'm dealing it well emotionally because it's a very good friend. We talk a lot about stuff, talk a lot of things, share a lot of things. I have friends who just passed away as well. A Gen 1, the first generation of comics in Singapore, one of them has passed away. Mr. Lucas Drake. I'm not sure whether I don't think that this. Okay, look, this is not a tribute, not an tribute to a dead comic in Singapore. I don't want to do that. I would like to send my condolences. But okay, I don't do that is because I feel that this thing is that this podcast will not suffice, or I don't want to be that guy. He has been very nice to me when he was here, but I didn't manage to keep in contact with him. I didn't call him. I didn't send a message to him. But he's a very nice person. I mean, he will be a very good friend if he. I think the comedy scene in Singapore, we are very close. We are friends, right? We are very close friends. But I'm not the guy who keep contact with people, and I think I've learned that here today. I've learned that I should be doing it, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not sure whether it is okay to say that I should be. I should be a little bit more proactive to contact people, right? Because if I got no reason to contact someone, I will not contact anyone, right? If I think, yeah, if I got no reason to contact a person, maybe ask for a favor, I may not do it at all, unless the other person decides to say, hey, how have you been doing, right? So just send a message, hey, how have you been doing? Hey, like, I think that's why I'm very bad with interacting with people, and I should be able to learn how to deal with that, but I don't really know like how, like what do you want me to talk to, like what's the topic that you want to talk about, right? Your hopes and dreams again. You don't want to hear me talk about my hopes and dreams again, I guess. Like, it's nice to listen to it for the first time, it's nice to listen to it for a second time, but why, right? I'm not sure that it's okay to do that. I'm not sure that it's right. I don't know. Right. I really don't. Okay, but yeah, so like again, I want to send my condolences to Lucas Drake and his family. Lucas Drake's family. Yeah, it's a fatal accident. Yeah. So, I'm not sure to say that, right? I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. Second thing, right? I may, for those who are in Singapore, all right. We may have something interesting. Uh, or should I say that we may have there'll be an interesting event coming up soon. I guess I don't know the details yet, so I'm not going to give any details. But look out, I may tell. Like, I think one of the things I'm busy with right now is where I'm trying to write a bio for this podcast, right? Because I was being told that I may be involved in something, which I do not know exactly what yet, but it involves with this podcast. So if for those in Singapore, keep a lookout, I guess, until I get a little bit more details about what this event really is, right? I guess that's a good way to say this. That's a good way to tell everyone that, yeah, I may be involved in something. And I guess and I guess that writing a bio itself is I don't know. I'm not sure that I'm dealing with the existential crisis well when writing a bio. Like, oh my god, what is this really about? What this podcast is really about? What? Because it's all about what? I really don't know what this whole podcast is about. I'm I should know it. I'm the creator, I guess, but I don't know. I say this podcast as another take of me, right? But I don't know what is it really about. I don't know what do I need to tell everyone. What is this really about, right? I don't know. Maybe I should know a little bit more, right? I should tell everyone that, hey, it's just a conversation between two people. Let's see how it goes, right? I don't know. Yeah. So okay. In this episode, I think it's a good way to dive in, right? So in this episode, I have a conversation with Sean Bedlam. Sean Bedlam is a comic that's based in Melbourne. I've went to Melbourne 2 years ago, right? And in 2016. So last year, I went to Melbourne last year and this year in 2017. All right. So and I think that, and I've watched Sean Bedlam on 2016. I like his act. Alright, I don't know why, but I really do love his act. I think that he's funny. That's why I contacted him to do the podcast. Yeah, so it's kind of fun to talk to him, right? I've asked him and he said, "Oh yeah, sure, go ahead." Right, and we'll do a podcast. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about what he has been doing, and I'll try to catch up with him, talk a lot, and we kind of like, and I kind of know a little bit more about the education system in Australia, I guess, right? We kind of like the experience that the bond us together, as like, look, we do talk a little bit about gutter talk. We do talk a little bit about like vulgarities that happens in school. What happens if you say any swear words out in school, any vulgarities out in school, like and Singapore. All right, and I remember there's a story where I have like I was being caught, like I was being punished for saying the word shit, right? Saying saying the word shit like very loudly, right? I was being punished. I couldn't remember. I think it's standing out of the classroom, I guess. Standing outside of the classroom. That's the punishment. I think I was around like 10 or 11. That happens. So that happens, right? And I'm surprised that it, like like when you listen to the episode itself, I'm surprised that we both have similar visions or similar things that you see in life, that an Australian education have and Singapore education have, right? It's interesting to see that bond us together. Yeah. So yeah. So this is going to be a long episode. This is going to be a very long episode, right? I try to cut it down to an hour 30. I can't do it. So yeah. So this is that. Do enjoy the conversation between me and Sean Bedlam and this episode of Not Again Podcast.
Food you have pink with pink food you can have what do you call that there's pink in the health, so I guess every pink food's supposed to be slightly healthier.
Pink food makes me think of the paste they make things like chicken nuggets out of for McDonald's food or Kentucky Fried Chicken. You ever see that pink? It's the same colour. In fact, it's the same colour as the milk you're drinking right now. Is that it's a paste, that horrific substance that is turned into food that people actually eat.
But it's meat though, so it's like I suppose like everything when you turn like, but because when you look at steak, right, it's really red on the inside, but at the outside it's pink in color because exposes a little bit to the air, right?
Yeah, there's a color variation. I like I haven't had it for a long time, but chops that are grey. It's the worst thing ever. Grey meat. I think Australia in the 1970s, I think all the meat was grey, as I remember. No one knew how to cook. No one knew how to cook in Australia in the 1970s.
Wait. Okay. I mean, everyone sells food that's grey in color, or the one that you make that's grey in color?
I mean, just meat just seemed to be grey all the time. I don't know how. Just shit meat.
So everyone's making grey meat.
Just buying shitty meat from what it used to be called Safeway, or like Woolworths, or like Coles.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we've gone off onto a tangent about meat, and I can't back it up anything I'm saying. I did that thing where you just start talking and fucking hope something.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like that's how I start with my every podcast. I was saying that, hey guys, I don't know what should I talk about. Like can we do this together? We'll figure something out. We'll figure like there's something in there, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we'll do. We're working it out right now. This is like clearing your throat.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's one way to go to pull it that way.
Yeah.
Like
as we talk, our voices become warmer, and we sound more beautiful by the minute.
It's okay. This is what I'm afraid of my audience member. For that one person that's listening, listening constantly. It's like, okay, so his voice is kind of okay, right? I hope that it's getting better, and then we figure something out, and then you figure something out together, right? He's drinking more coffee.
Man, I'll tell you something. I had an audience. And I got rid of it. I used to do YouTube ranting videos about 10 years ago. 10 years ago, and I attracted this audience of mostly Americans who were, I think a lot of them would be what you call now alt-right, and they believed in conspiracy theories, and they thought that I was into all of that. You know, just because of the way I spoke. And after a while, I started to purposely say stuff in the videos to make my audience angry and to make them hate me and make them go away, which is crazy. I can't believe I did that. But it worked. I had this pretty big audience, and then I made the audience real small, which is just amazing. But that's
so much fun, though.
The internet's a strange place, though.
But it's so much fun though to have things that happen like that. Like you can chase off all your audience members and start do it. Like it would be surprising that some of them stayed and some of them just went off. Like, wait a minute, aren't you with me? Aren't you? Oh, so this hurts you then, huh?
Yeah.
And just keep entering, like
Yeah.
keep going and see where they hurt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally did that. I trolled my own audience. Trolled them. Some of them. There's still some people. I've got I've still got some of the audience, but most of them, I got rid of them.
But what did you rant about? What did you rant about?
Oh, all sorts of things. Mostly, well, I mean, look, to be fair and to be honest, at the time, I was probably quite mentally ill. So I would make these ranting videos where I was playing this character who's a ranting crazy guy, but in reality, I was a ranting crazy guy. So maybe getting rid of my audience was like self-defense. So I'd need to back off. Wow. Crazy
This is
time.
not me. This is not me. Just to tell you guys that I'm okay. I'm okay. When I'm in that state of mind, I'll come back. There's a lot of times when people say that I have a very eccentric point of like taking items, weird like favors, like I'm different from my mates. I'm very different from my mates.
Yeah.
My non-comic, my friends are not comedians.
Yeah.
Things that I don't sound like a typical Singaporean guy. I
No,
don't
right.
when people hear this voice and they have not came to Singapore before, they think that this is a Singaporean voice.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'll tell them that it is not a Singaporean voice.
What, different accent or what?
I think it's different accent. Like this is one we have to go for national service, and a lot of guys from the military was asking, hey, are you Singaporean? Because you do not have an accent of Singaporean.
Yeah.
Or hey, have you went to like schools with we have this international schools.
Yeah.
Like schools that usually that includes like foreigners. When they bring their families over, the children of the foreigners will go there because they don't want to go to like only a certain amount of percentage.
Is that English speaking foreigners or European foreigners just from around the world?
It's from all around the world.
All around the world, yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be placed in there because they're like private schools and
Yeah.
And everyone was chatting like I have that kind of accent.
Oh,
like
okay.
they can't place the accent. I'm like,
Yep.
I've been to public school for all my life, right? I've been in the heartlands of like I've been like the suburban, like in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So it feels like, hey, I'm supposed to have the accent of Singaporean, but no, I don't. Right? Yeah. So
it happens. The way people adopt accents, even in Australia, like we've got a shit accent in Australia. It's terrible. But there are differences. People from Adelaide sound more English often. Like English as in from England, I should say.
Wait, which part of England though?
That's a good question actually, because there's 200 English accents.
No, can I imagine like there's posh, the posh and the North English accent.
Yeah, that's I actually can't answer that. Yeah, it's sort of like a posh, English accent. Yeah, sort of like a BBC.
Oh, so is that
accent.
I can't do an accent.
I can't do accents either. Man, when I started doing open mic comedy, you still see it a tiny little bit now, but it seems to not happen as much. But some guy would say, so I went into a 7-Eleven, and you just brace yourself because here we go, here it comes, and then the guy starts doing the accent of the guy who works at 7-Eleven, and you just put your head on your knees and put your hands over your head and just wait for it to be over. You just wait for the racism storm to blow over you. And you know, you just if you put your head down, you're not involved, and you're not a racist. I didn't enjoy this man's comedy. I don't endorse anything he's saying. I am not part of this. Yes, I am wearing the same skin as him, and that's very confronting for me, actually. And in fact, I think you'll find that racism is affecting me the most. I am the biggest victim of racism on earth. I, the white man.
But is racial jokes a lot more prominent or less prominent in Melbourne?
I don't know, man. I go to gigs. I circulate around the centre of Melbourne, like the city, the inner suburbs. So I don't know what's going on in the outer suburbs. That's where I grew up, and I escaped. And I liked living in the bubble. So around the city, people try to be sensitive about race, sensitive about sexism and homophobia and things, or at least appear to be. Like I think it's pretty well understood you can't get away with it. There are certain things you can't do. But I don't. Maybe if you went to the Comics Lounge in North Melbourne, there's at least one comic there who's quite sort of conservative, quite sort of, I don't know, sort of right wing. I think that's fair. But so he doesn't sort of play by those rules of that there are things you can't talk about. But yeah. I don't really know.
Because I don't do jokes about racism, I don't do jokes about sexism. If I really do one, I'm still trying to figure a bit out. Saying that I visited a sex worker, and the whole joke about me is like me going to go to masseuse, like a massage parlor with happy ending, but it didn't work out the way I wanted to be. So I went in there. I just expect a massage, and she says that she wants to give me a happy ending, but it doesn't work out that way. And I said she was begging for it because she was like, I have children to feed. I'm like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do now? I'm in a moral dilemma. Feed the kids.
That's good.
Sure, feed the kids or just let her. Yeah. So.
Man. I love that. That's fucking great, man. That's great. Well, see, that's the. I've been thinking about this recently because I'm writing this show and thinking about how you write jokes and realising something that's pretty obvious, that jokes are surprises. So you tell a story and there's a twist. There's a twist at the end of the very short story, or maybe a bit longer, but generally you want it to be very short, so you get the laughs coming. But it's a twist, and it's a surprise twist, and then that's the punchline, and that's where ideally everyone laughs, and that's great. And you can, I think, you can play with things like race and sex if you dig deep enough to come up with
something that's different, something that's refreshing.
Exactly, and that's refreshing. What you've just said there is you've opened it up into, there's different subject matter in there, like this is sex work is a job for people, and you've painted a picture of the circumstances, that behind some of that. And so the story becomes way more interesting. Everything about it becomes more. It's like the sunrise, Suddenly it's more interesting than, oh Jesus Christ, what's he talking about? Oh, thank God, he's a sensitive, funny man who cares about people. Thank God.
But looking at on this point of view, right? Like everyone, when you talk about stuff like that, they expected you to be like a superior kind of thing. They expect or they expect you to be like when you talk about race, right? Unless they expect a stereotype to come out from there. And when you talk about sexism, they expect that it's either a woman being the victim, or you being the superior of the joke.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So what am I supposed to do now? Should I like stop doing that, or unless I can bring something that's different out on the table, I wouldn't do jokes like that. And I feel like I have the pressure of making it like I have to be somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I have to bring it across to somewhere instead of just doing like as a stereotype joke,
Yeah.
or is it like a let's play down on woman joke?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
Often the really obvious jokes too are the ones that they play to people's worst feelings and most shithouse ideas. It's like they play to the nastiest, sort of unkind, mean-spirited part of yourself, and we've all got that. But you can dig deeper to the, where people are much more interesting. That's, I mean, I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years or something ridiculous like that, on and off. And I'm only just starting to sort of learn how to write jokes and how to indulge in being, sort of gross and what have you, because that's fun, but how to dig into it deep enough to find, something that's interesting to me and the audience that doesn't leave me standing on stage looking like a dickhead, who's just talking shit, and I've definitely done plenty of that, just saying rude things and not realising that I needed to dig deeper into the joke. I think I'm just repeating what I said earlier. Jesus Christ, sorry. I'm so sorry.
but because I don't know. I don't know whether it's same with the education system in Australia, but in Singapore, there are times when we do something really really rude. So it's like the teachers will go, hey, don't you guys laugh at that? If you're laughing at it, you're agreeing with it. And
yeah, wow.
And I'm like, no, sometimes it's because it's surprising. Like the twist in that is really funny. Like you play like just for laughs, right? When you play a prank, the reaction stuff is really, really funny.
Yeah.
But and sometimes and most of the time it's harmless. So it's really crazy to go in to a point of view where when people say something really, really nasty on stage, it's I'm not endorsing to what he's saying, but the way he put it, there's a twist to it, and I find it really surprising, and I love it. It's surprising, right? And I'm not sure whether it's the same with the Australian.
What I do remember saying, what did I say? I said a word. I said turd. I think I might have said turd or something, or shit or something in class, and a teacher said, it became just super angry and pointed at me and started yelling at me about using gutter talk. And that was the first time I've been presented with the idea of swearing as being just this low class, untouchable shit person thing to be doing. It really surprised me. Actually, that was strange. Because generally, I mean, a lot of Australians are quite relaxed about things like swearing and, but I guess more upper class Australians, which I think that teacher was quite upper class, they're more uptight about swearing and things, and they think it indicates that you've got a shrunken brain and not capable of comprehending complicated concepts and things like this, because you speak like a truck driver or something. Like, oh, well, you're clearly an idiot, you're a shit person. That's one of the things I like about stand-up comedy, because it's a vulgar art. It's a street. It's like a street thing to be doing, but it's also it's very difficult to learn how to do it. You have to be real with the audience, which is something that you can't. You can only learn how to do it by trial and error.
And I feel like sometimes it's because like when I brought my material up to Singapore, and I realized that I'm being honest, I'm on stage here in Melbourne. I don't get it. I don't get a laugh. But when some of the materials try and test it in Singapore, some of them, like most of them, work, and I brought it here. It's like, wait, I guess I'm laughing because it's me, or is it because like it feels really weird? Like,
I think if you say if I went to Paris and did my comedy there, it's quite possible that they wouldn't know what I was talking about. Not because of the language thing, like but simply because of the sensibility is different, and it might take me 6 months or might take me a little while of doing comedy in somewhere like, say, Paris or anywhere, outside of Australia, to be able to work out what people think is funny, how to come at it. Because I know I've got a particular way that I think of comedy, which is it's like it's an approach or an angle that I think is, it's quite Australian and it's probably quite suburban, and it's about being sort of a bit of a smart ass, but also having a chip on your shoulder and being sort of bitter about things, but sort of reveling in it, And, I don't know, and maybe in Paris they would think, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he so unhappy? Whereas I'm thinking, no, I'm happy. It's supposed to be funny.
That's similar to me in a lot of ways. Saying that, but I think that's why, there are times when we go out on stage and people also say that, is he okay? Is he? Does he take the rope? Like, does he need the rope?
Yeah.
Can someone just keep the rope or the knife?
Yeah. That's what happens. Yeah. People don't know you. They've never seen you, and they definitely they will if you're doing anything that's a bit dark, they will worry about you because they don't know that you're joking, which is really strange.
Hey, do you guys know that this is a comedy show?
Yeah. It's weird. Well, there's a difference between Brisbane comedy and Melbourne comedy. They're very different, Brisbane, you have to walk straight out onto the stage and just start telling jokes, bang. And it's got to be joke. You can't stand there and kind of play around the way you can in Melbourne. In Melbourne, people from Sydney as well say this about Melbourne, that they come down and do gigs here and they can't believe how much people fuck around on stage. I got one mate who does a joke that goes for, I think it goes for 2 minutes before there's a punchline. He's just setting up this really long-winded thing, and there's a laugh at the end, but it's a long wait, But that's come out of him working that out in Melbourne. Whereas say maybe over in Singapore, maybe he would try that and people would just think, well, what's he doing?
Yep.
Just get off right now. You're just talking now. Go away. You're just talking.
It's the same thing, right? But because I do fuck around on stage a lot, like
you do you think you fuck around on stage?
I do fuck around on stage a lot, like there's a lot of time where I have to build up a premise, and when I talk about it, I'll try to insert punchline in, but there's a lot of time where I can't really insert punchline because I'm not sure whether my style of comedy is because very emotional, like heavy kind of material. Where people have to be on board with me right from the start. If not, I'm not sure whether you are with me at all. So you have to get on with me. And Singapore doesn't go that way. Yet not. At least not in the near future. But whereas in Melbourne, people are willing to wait a little bit more. People are willing to let's see how this is going. Like I'm not sure whether I can trust you, but let's see where this is going.
That's right. People do sort of expect to sort of, they're happy to have some patience and to wait a little bit to see how something's going, because probably being it's a little bit of a Melbourne thing. It's a city that is just, there's loads of arty wankers and pretentious people and what have you. But also we have lots of theatre and yada yada yada. And so people are aware that if someone's standing on stage and they're doing something that's strange, they might be sort of trained to sort of wait. They go, no, wait, he's going to do something. I know he is. There's something coming for sure because because they're not idiots. The audience, they're not stupid. They've seen a stage before and they've seen someone tricking them before.
Let's wait for him to handle his shit out on stage first before before everything can be done, right?
Yeah. Whereas up in Queensland, say people, they have no patience because there isn't the thriving arts scene, basically arts and performance scene, which I think Melbourne is fantastic to do comedy in. I think it's a great coincidence that it's where I live. But I can go out. I just realised last week I haven't been doing it for I think it's about 9 months. I just stopped completely out of just bitterness and spite, as you do with comedy, because it's and I came back in the last couple of weeks to do open mics, and I realised I could do open mics 6 nights a week, which is amazing to me because when I started about 6 years ago, there was nowhere near that amount of opportunity to get up on a stage and just say whatever you want.
It's the same in
It's
Singapore
amazing.
too. It's the same in Singapore too, where I had like one night or 0 nights at all.
Yeah.
To up to the best 3 nights.
Yeah.
In Melbourne, I've done like 6 gigs, 6 spots now.
Yeah.
Until yesterday.
Yeah.
Right, that's 3 days, 6 spots. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I would love to do more, but it's really crazy for me. It's like I'm not sure that I should say I really enjoy this kind of life. But at least I go, oh yeah, there's 6 spots. I've done 6 spots now. My gosh, right? It's really nuts to think about like the 6 spots, and see how it goes from there, right? Does my style really work here? My style, like is it too dark or is it too bright or whatever?
I would suggest just stick to your guns. Do what you got to do. If you start changing it because you think you are too one thing or the other, then that's where you start to fuck up. I think I've definitely done quite a bit of that, of changing things because I thought I was. But it gets weird because it becomes this strange thing of trying to work out how to be yourself, which you should never ever do. You should just be yourself. So you focus on the technical things like, what do I plan to say on stage, instead of how do I carry myself and what have you. That can become such a nightmare, I've had amazing ups and downs, like where doing the same jokes, I have had amazing spots, just amazing, where I know that what I'm doing is fucking fantastic. I can feel it while it's happening, and you have that out of body experience where you are watching yourself doing what you're doing, and that's the best, But then in the same week doing a spot and just doing it just awful, as if I've never done comedy before, and that comes from thinking too much about where I should fit in, instead of realising that if I just focus on what I do, really just focus on it, I will probably be brilliant. Like if anybody, yourself included, anyone who's got any talent at all and any experience at all, simply focusing on just what you actually do as hard as you can, and I don't even mean stressing about it, being anxious about it, but just focusing, paying really close attention to as many details of the jokes as you can, you'll probably do something brilliant, and simple things like that. Taken me forever to become very clear about, because there's so much about getting on stage that's confusing. You know.
I don't know. It feels like going on one stage. I'm not sure whether should I give what the audience wanted, or I'm not sure whether should I give like what I wanted to give.
Yeah.
Like how much of a wanker should I be on stage?
Yeah. That's incredibly familiar to me. You know. Incredibly familiar. And I've found that when what I do as preparation for getting on stage is I sit there with my notebook, with pen and paper, and I simply concentrate on writing out the names of jokes and just trying to get clear in my head which order they're going to be in. And it's a boring process. It's not very interesting, but it focuses me so that when I get up and perform, I'm not thinking about myself. I'm not really thinking about anything, and I'm just with the audience. We're just all together, and can just be on a level with the audience without trying to work out how to be clever or be anything. I'm funny.
I've reached the point where, okay, this is how I prep myself on stage, right? Before I go out on stage, I'll stay where the audience are, and just scare shit out of myself, and hopefully like just 1 minute before I go out on stage, I'll go, all right, that's okay, you can do this, right? Hopefully you can do this. Nothing can go wrong. You went out on stage before. Gun is illegal in Singapore. It's all right. No one's gonna go up and shoot you. It's okay. So and just go up on stage and start doing those jokes.
That's a good method. I like it.
I know. It's scary though. It's like you try to scare yourself on stage. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with me? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Then suddenly abruptly go, I can do this. I can do this, and just go up on stage and start doing it.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's horrifying,
Yeah.
and I don't know what do I want to talk until I go up on stage and go, okay, so I've written this joke, and hopefully that you guys laugh at it.
Yeah.
And start doing those jokes.
Yeah.
It feels good. Like it feels very liberating.
Yeah, well, it sounds liberating. I mean, that's a good story. The thing of sitting there waiting like that, and then at the last minute going, okay, that's great. That's focusing, and that's doing what you should do instead of just wandering on stage hoping that it works out without having done any mental preparation at all. To me, so that's the thing that really makes stand-up comedy super interesting. No matter what comic it is if the comic is really present, you can see that the lights are on, that they're awake and aware and that they're in the room with you and they're not trying to hide. And they're talking to the audience on a level, we're just all here together, and that's where it can get really exciting, and it's warm. It's a warm feeling as well. You have a feeling of the room has a feeling of togetherness, because that's one thing that any kind of performer can do, can bring a whole group of people together so that you all feel, and that's a great chemical reaction. That's fantastic. That really excites me more than somebody who's just memorized their jokes and then just rattles them off, and you can tell they're not even paying attention. They've just worked out, they've memorised, and I know some people who are reasonably successful, like very efficient, but I don't. It puts me to sleep. I remember watching a comic once who's, quite successful, very successful, delivering 20 minutes of comedy that was so beautifully rehearsed that I started to actually fall asleep. Because it was so obviously something that they had rehearsed over and over and over in front of a mirror.
It doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel like you are with me. Like you're like a joke machine just trying to blah 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 blah.
Yeah, it's like they're in the Olympics. It's like they're doing figure skating or synchronized swimming or something where everything is flawless, but who cares? You know, because you're just standing on stage having your own comedy show by yourself.
It's not even a conversation. It doesn't feel. It's not even monologue. It feels like there's no connection between. I think that like a lot of my favorite comics are doing that. Like having a conversation up on stage. The ones that I love both in the local scene and both in the Melbourne scene. Like some of them in the Melbourne scene and some of the international comics that I know of.
Yeah.
Not personally, but like know it through reputation. Which is they done it up on stage, and what they've done on stage is they're just trying to figure things out in their head, and trying to see how they're caught. It feels it's really fun to watch them working their stuff up on stage.
Yeah. It's interesting. Feels magical. People are doing that. And also, if people are good enough, they can be doing stuff that they do know back to front and inside out, but it feels like they just thought it up, you know, which is some sort of a skill there, which is, I mean, I don't know. I guess if your jokes are interesting enough, they should probably always be interesting to you, you know, that's going back to what we were talking about near the start, the thing of writing jokes that have some depth to them, so that there are genuine surprises in there that you're excited to present to an audience. Yeah, I'm working on a joke at the moment, and the idea of it is something along the lines of somehow I'm talking about how remembering when 9/11 happened, and talking about when 9/11 happened, I was working a dead-end job, and I had been working washing dishes and all these kinds of jobs for years. So when 9/11 happened, for me, every morning, my personal 9/11 was waking up and going, oh my God, I'm a fucking dishwasher, right? And then on the day of 9/11, I woke up and I turned on the TV and I saw a plane fly into the building, and I thought, oh my God, I'm a fucking dishwasher.
At least the guys in the plane have settled down. They have reached to the end of their lives. They can't how to figure out their life, and here I am doing a dishwasher. I'm not sure how much they appreciate the dead people right now. Like,
well, I mean, Jesus Christ. That joke came out of being on being on the cross trainer at the gym for an hour, just sort of fairly gently exercising and just thinking for an hour about what I want my show to be about, you know, and thinking, okay, how would I describe my show? What do I want it to be? You know, and then just thinking along these very simple lines for an hour, and coming up with 2 or 3 ideas and going, no, that's not right. Go back to what's the thing? What's the thing that I really want to come to? And then right in the last 10 minutes, this joke started to build itself out of because the show's called Death to America, which I called it that to give myself a challenge, you know, because now I've got to write something that I better be good, you know. I'm going to call it that. But just thinking along the lines of what's the show about, and knowing that if I did that I would write a joke or I would probably end up writing a joke in that 1 hour period. And I ended up writing most of that joke just needs to be polished up a bit and what have you. But that's a joke, you know. As soon as I thought of looking at the TV and saying, "Oh my God, I'm a dishwasher," I thought, "Thank you." It was like, hallelujah, you know. And that just came with thinking of an idea and then thinking, "No, I don't like that. It's not deep enough. It's too obvious. what's another way of looking at this? What's behind that? Why am I thinking what I'm thinking? And it's actually a pretty easy process. It's all it is concentrating. It's not, having said that, it's taken me 7 fucking years to reach that point quite recently of being able to just concentrate on an idea, for an hour.
I think
come up to write a joke.
I think it's because it's also needs you to take 7 years to try and figure out like there's actually other possibly ways of doing it. Like the experience that you have learned.
Oh yeah.
That you've gone through to realize, maybe you can go the other way. Right?
Yeah.
That's what at least all of us try to do.
Yeah.
Right. To find out like that you can do anything in comedy. And there's a lot of other ways to do to get people behind you to figure out, hey, there's this thing there's this other direction I can go into.
Yeah.
Right. I'm still trying to figure out a bit of mine. This joke I've written here. I was figuring out Facebook. And then I realized that there's a lot of comics who criticize Facebook but I like it. Like, I really love Facebook because it stops me from doing really stupid shit like taking heroin and all this kind of stuff. so and it feels like, oh yeah, that's cool. They're cool with it. They're okay with it. Like I'm surprised that this works well.
Yeah.
So Facebook isn't that bad after all, right? And this advertisement brought to you by Facebook.
That's nice. And that's it. So there you go. That's all it is. It's just a twist at the end. It's a surprise at the end. Then there's the sort of the thing of, can you surprise comedians?
Oh,
because you can surprise an audience because they're not looking at comedy all the time. But can you sneak up on? Can you write a joke where you can surprise comedians? And I think that's a really good aim to have. Because at some point you have to set some sort of a standard. But like what for? Yeah.
But I'm afraid sometimes that this is what happens, right? Where you try and test jokes on comedians, it works very well. You try and test jokes on people.
Yeah.
Normal people who don't watch just a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
They kind of don't laugh at. Like, they wonder, hey, well, how is that funny? How? And you see jokes flying over their head.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the thing too. It's easy to be too clever, and so this is definitely so. Like, say for instance, with that dishwasher joke, I'm gonna keep working on it to try and cover all of the exits, to make sure that I'm really making sure that it's 100% clear to anyone who might be missing some crucial bit of it, because I know that I'm a comedian and that I know I have a full-on appreciation for jokes, but I also know that I need to make it as clear as humanly possible to someone who doesn't know me as an audience member. Like, I've got to make clear that I didn't think 9/11 was hilarious. That I was genuinely horrified, that it was absolutely awful and shocking.
But you have a lower level of what's horrible right now.
Well, if you're a comedian, potentially everything's funny, no matter what it is. Like, your own father can have cancer and die, and you can tell a joke about it. Things like this. Everything is fair game, but audiences aren't like that. And that's fine. So I got 2 things I want to do. One, I want to say like just the most full-on things I can get away with. to use just use the feelings that I've got actually, because they're there, and use them for something. But also, I want to be able to keep doing it. So I don't want to just upset audiences, because I get nothing out of an audience that is upset at me and thinking, wow, he's a bastard. You know, everything's a big joke to him. He's a monster. Like, I don't get anything out of that, because it doesn't make me feel particularly good, you know. And I want to be able to get paid to do this too. So audiences have to like me, or I'm not going to be asked back. You know.
I think that's why I do like. Someone told me my humor is really sad, like sad.
Sad.
Because I've done a lot of self-deprecating jokes. Like my whole if I'm gonna imagine like 1 hour comedy special, it's 1 hour of self-deprecating jokes.
Yeah.
If I were to do that.
Yeah.
And then I can't imagine it that way, because that's I'm like there are comics in Singapore who says that you should lighten up. You should win sometimes so that the audience will root for you. And I don't really know how to make myself win in certain jokes.
Yeah.
So it feels like how do I win someone's heart and not to be an asshole? Right? Because you will hate the person going up to be like, you will not like president, or you will not like people in power. Because they have power. People don't like the government because they fuck things up.
Yeah.
All right. If you're looking at the citizen point of view, like they'll do things that does not agree with you.
Yeah.
But they're in power. So people, and I think that people having the power to go up on stage is really considered a win. Is really considered that. Yeah. You have power and authority with them. You can't do any. You can't be better than them.
Yeah.
But neither can you be like, you have to be like, you can't be better than them. You can't be equal with them. But you got to be a little bit lower. Yeah. Than them. Yeah. They'll go, oh yeah, he's a nice person. Yeah. I can hang out with him. Like. Yeah. I'm a little bit superior, but I'm okay. Yeah. Yeah, so that kind of thing.
They have to feel safe. Definitely. I think they have to feel safe. I mean, I would say that you can be equal to them, but but I don't think of it as being equal. I think of it as being in the same shit as they are. You know, we're all fucked, or we're all normal, or we're all have average prospects. Things like this. It's a funny one, because if you've got some talent, you're already set yourself apart. As soon as you get on stage with your talent and people go, wow, that's amazing, I could never do that. And you're thinking, that's right, you couldn't. You know, but the issue, it all happens on stage too. As soon as you get off, you're just another human being again. But before you get up, you're no one. And when you get off, you're no one again, even if people are talking to you and saying, that was great, which is, it's happened a couple of times anyway.
I know. When people say that, they go, are you sure? Are you mistaken? Have you mistaken me with another Chinese comic?
Yeah, well, that's another thing too. If you do good, you got to learn how to take a compliment, or else you seem like a fucking. What's wrong with this guy? He's miserable.
I'm not sure, is it because like when we go up on stage and you kind of like, okay, this is what I can do well. What the fuck am I doing with this? What the fuck am I doing with this? What the fuck is this? And when people go, oh, I really enjoy it, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh no, I've been there for sure. I've been there. I've done. Yeah, done a spot and just got through it, you know. And then afterwards, people said, "Yeah, that was really good." And I'm thinking, "No, it wasn't. It was terrible." But that's because you've got a certain standard, you know. You say you're above the standard of being brand new, so you have skills, and the audience is seeing those skills, being used, but that's not exciting to you anymore. You haven't hit the level that you wanted to hit. I mean, to get past all that, like I'm becoming more and more sort of intense about preparing for shows and stuff. Like I'm actually massively now into memorizing things, having them super memorized and having every word written. I didn't start out I did start out like that. Then I stopped and I just started to try out ideas all the time, to the point where I probably made it very, very hard on myself, because I was making it incredibly difficult for myself to do comedy, because I was always just trying new stuff out, because I thought that's what I had to do to get good. And I think I was probably right, but fuck, it was painful, because
it's
when you bomb and you fucking... So now it's very much to create a safety net for myself, So I know the material back to front, and can just rattle it off if need be.
It feels very scary to memorize everything. Like I've tried memorizing everything, and when I do that, I don't feel connected to the audience member.
Well, yeah, it's a funny one, because to my understanding of memorising it is to create a sense that I am safe on stage, that I'm completely safe, and then I can improvise. Then I can have all sorts of side interactions with the audience and side comments along the way, because I feel completely safe and connected and grounded and sorted out and everything. Like I just know what I'm doing, because I've just experienced it too much times where I've left it open. I've gone, okay, I'm going to do this at the start and this at the end, and in the middle there's a space where I'm just going to see what happens. I've got a vague idea, and have just eaten shit. I've gotten to the middle bit and have had no idea what to do, and have just freaked out on stage. Basically, I've just stood there, just going, "Oh, this is fucking horrible," just wanting to walk off stage, because. That's me though. I mean, I've got huge sort of issues with anxiety and shit like that to begin with. So that's possibly got nothing to do. Maybe it's got nothing to do with comedy, and it's just got to do with sometimes just having a big sense of anxiety about standing up in front of a bunch of people I don't know. And going, oh no, how did this happen? Why are they looking at me?
Where did the last 2 years displace into? Why am I doing this in the first place?
Yeah,
I know, but because I've done ideas. I've done things like so this is an idea I want to talk about, and I put it up there. I remember like what the idea is really about, right? And I go up on stage and I try to find the right words. I try to find the right words to fit in. To fit into what I want to say, and hope you guys get in with me. This is one I repeat. Like I said, I've repeated I memorized word for word.
Yeah,
and it scares the shit out of me, because if like there's a crowd interaction, I think for 2 years I've done that.
Yeah,
right. And when there's a crowd interaction, my head and poof. It's like it's out of it's out. My momentum is gone.
Oh yeah. Okay. I think right. I think I know what you mean now. Yeah. So is it that sense that if you right. So like if you get a word, if you just get interrupted at all, right, it just falls apart.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you go up on stage and you try to tell a joke, like remember the first time when you go up on stage you memorize word for word, and then when you go up on stage you start to blank.
Oh man, it's horrifying.
It's terrifying
when you're walking towards a stage and you have no idea what your jokes are. I've walked towards the stage. I'm walking towards the mic and I don't know what any of my jokes are. Oh man. Those can sometimes work out to be the best gigs.
I know. To me, it's always the best gig to go up on stage and just don't there's a lot of times like in the podcast as well. Like there's a lot of times where I tell my guests, like I don't know what this will be, and then we try to figure it out and see where are we getting, and most of and a lot of times it goes, oh yeah, that's fun. Maybe because there's there's a sense of like, hey, we trust each other. We'll get back together. Like this is what I would do doing with my audience members as well. Like doing stand up. Like there are times I go, I don't know why am I talking. I don't know what I'm going to tell you guys about.
Yeah.
And a lot of times where this kind of like pisses the promoter off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because they're like, you should really prepare a joke. I'm like, yeah, I did.
Yeah. That pisses me off when people who run rooms reckon they can start telling the comics what they should and shouldn't be doing. So, well, if you want to have comics who all sound exactly like each other, then please give advice to the comics, and you'll end up with 20 comics who all sound like the same guy. Otherwise, let them work it out so you can have. But I've got to be in my bonnet about that kind of thing.
I don't know. I think that they have they're good in their heart. They have very good intentions. Trying to tell you that, hey, maybe this is I've seen this work before, so you should do this. And if you're good, I can put you as a headliner spot. Yeah, and because if you are good, you can when you are good, you bring in people. It brings good for me. Like it's good for me too. But then when if you don't do like, if you do that, you stop creativity. Come on, like it's
a real juggling act, man. It's real, I got mates who started when I did, who are now making a living out of doing comedy, and that's good. And they've done it in a very sort of very organised way like that, like they're not so worried about trying to come up with have their own style of comedy so much. They're not trying to be brilliant so much or be really super original. They're just trying to be comics and just try to work out how to write jokes and how to do a proper, 10 or 20 minutes or whatever, and that's really cool. I mean, and it makes perfect sense. I've come at it with a whole other way, thinking only in terms of being different. Thinking there's millions of people who want to be comics, so I need to find out what's different. Like when shortly after I started, some people said, "Oh, you're obviously into Bill Hicks, right?" And I went, "Oh no, is it that obvious?" And I thought, is it coming through? Do I have mannerisms and things where it's that look like Bill Hicks? Because also, like physically, I look a little bit like him. I got a similar sort of head, so I'm thinking, oh, this is a nightmare. I can't have people looking at me going, look at him. He wants to be Bill Hicks. What an idiot! I thought that's incredibly embarrassing. So yeah, from then on, I became obsessed with being different. And that's probably why I get a little bit angry when I hear about promoters and stuff saying you should do this and you should do that, because it's like, well, yeah. I
don't know, like there are some comics that I really respect, and I don't want to be like them out of respect. Like there are comics that go, I really love this comic. But I don't want to be like him, because out of the pure respect of him, when people say that I'm like this comic, I'm like, no, I'm not. Like he's way much more better. Like he is way much better than me. Like you shouldn't call. Like and I don't want to be like an imitator of something.
No.
That's horrifying.
Oh, yeah, it is horrifying.
It's horrifying.
It's horrible. What a thought. And it's easy enough to do that. I mean, but David Quirk.
I can't be aggressive at all. I've done jokes that's aggressive. I've done jokes that scream on stage. Yeah, and people go.
Yeah, me too. And it feels terrible. I've definitely tried it, and people don't like it. They tense up. Yeah, you got to watch that. You can't scare the audience.
It'd be funny though if I scare them and they still laugh. It's like, imagine the audience members go, oh my god, if we don't laugh, we might be killed by this guy.
Yeah, no, for quite a while, that's what I wanted to do. That I wanted to be really angry on stage because to me I just thought that's funny, and it is funny, if you do it properly. But it's very high energy. It's very hard to sustain, and it's really easy to fuck it up actually, where it can come across as naked aggression, like where it can stop being funny. So I tend to really steer away from it now, if I can, because it's playing with fire,
For what I did is mine is rather passively, like there's passive aggressive
aggression.
Like it's not very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of shallow, so I'm not sure whether is it. Sometimes you just between sad and passive aggressive, it's dancing around the edge as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very scary to see, like,
mm-hmm.
and getting out of it and go, okay, so are we supposed to laugh? Is it too? Is it? You see, really angry.
Yeah.
Why is he making fun of people who are handicapped right now?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's the thing. It's so easy to turn people off. It's like you've got your hand on a switch and you can just turn the audience off like that.
But it's so exciting though, when you turn people off, and then you try to figure out, like, within that 3 minutes to try to get them back.
I don't think I've ever done that.
I can't do that as well.
I've definitely turned people off, and then that's it. The gig's fucked. I don't know what to do. This is terrible. I feel bad now. I want to go home.
It's okay. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You didn't. I know. You just fuck it up, and just go. It's okay, guys. We can get back together. It's okay. Here's a rope. Don't take the rope. God damn it. I don't know. It sounds like I don't know. Maybe because all the comics I watch, I like alternative comedy a lot. Like the American alternative, pretty much like Maron, Mark Maron, Janine Garofalo.
Yeah.
You have the British alternative as well, like Stuart Lee.
Yeah.
Simon Mannery.
Yeah.
So it's so much fun to see people like just throw people off and try to get them back.
Oh, that's definitely what interests me. I mean, like, you look on Netflix. I was really excited to be watching stand-up comedy on Netflix recently, but then I watched about 7 specials or maybe more, and then I realised that was it. That was everything I wanted to see, because I looked at just the first couple of minutes of lots of other specials after that, and I went, "Oh no, I hate you."
It all feels the same.
It's
all the same.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it is all the same. It just doesn't excite me. In fact, it upsets me. It's distressing. Some of them. It was one show. One of them, the woman walked out, grabbed the mic, said one thing, and it was like 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Just said, "Hey, whatever the thing is," and then this big, huge pose with their body, and I just thought, I fucking hate you, and just stopped it right there. And that person's got a huge career, probably a millionaire, but I'm thinking, this is not for me. Maria Bamford is for me, and Mark Maron and David Cross.
Oh, David Cross is good.
Sarah Silverman, her new special, I've watched it 2 nights in a row, which I've never ever done. I just thought it was incredible. It was just superb stand-up comedy. It's just a person with the microphone, stand-up comedy, unreal. Yeah, and really interesting. But it's when people that sort of stand-up comedy where they get up and they're trying to impress you with how normal they are. oh, I'm just a normal person. I've got kids and I wear shoes. I'm
Like, I don't know, like
who cares? Do you do anything interesting, or you just drive your kids to soccer? I don't care.
like there's one comic who's very big right now. Where he does all the musical stuff.
Musical stuff. I know who you're talking about. I think guy with the big hair.
Like it's pretty small kid.
Oh.
No. The white. He's pretty young in the comedian sense. He.
Oh, is he one of these YouTube guys? Started out as YouTube? Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I've never checked him out because it's musical comedy, and generally I just avoid it. You know,
he's very huge right now, and people call him like the alternative because it's different.
Yeah, okay.
And for me, I don't really like him. Okay, I respect what he does.
Yeah.
I think his style comedy is good if you can manage to sell out to a huge group of people. Good for you. If you do what you do, that's good. That's good for you. But it's not for me.
Yeah.
Like I can't watch him like 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
And go, all right, this is funny. Right. I can't root for you for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I want to go watch people up on stage trying to talk. Like trying to figure.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, hopefully you're funny enough and trying to figure yourself out on stage.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting because it's like a bit of a high wire act in a way, and it's impressive if someone can work out how to hold your interest properly and present one surprise after another for an hour. You know, so it's interesting, and there are surprises along the way and twists and turns and all this kind of stuff, and it's all just happening with storytelling. You know. And a particular kind of storytelling where it has to be a certain amount of laughter happening, like a laugh every 20 seconds or whatever the fuck it is, you know. So, yeah, you know, that's really interesting. It's also hard, which I think is possibly why people can choose super conservative ways of doing it to make it as safe as possible, you know. So, yeah, I guess, you know, we share this love of what they call alternative comedy, which I think alternative comedy is probably a pretty fair way to describe it, because there is definitely mainstream comedy, you know, like say, what's his name, Fluffy.
Oh,
you know, like he's excellent.
He's funny in his own way.
Yeah,
but it just doesn't hit.
Yeah. Well, he seems like he's like a nice guy act. I don't know anyone who's that nice. Well, I do, and I stay away from them because they bore me shitless. I'm not interested in nice people. I'm interested in people who are broken and shit. and who
because that's us, right?
Yeah. Right on.
I just see ourselves in there.
Actually, okay, so that's what it comes down to. We want to be around our people. We just want to be around our people, and all the other people can fuck off. Not interesting. Well, I mean, and this is the thing, man. This is something. I took a break from comedy from stand-up comedy for nearly a year, I think, and I think I said 9 months before, and then I went to the comedy festival to see shows because I had a pass, and then I realised something. I was looking around and I realised that I went, hey, I stopped doing comedy because it was hard and it was pissing me off, and I thought, I'm never going to work it out. This is awful. I'm just going to stop. And then I looked around at the festival and went, these are my people. This is where I'm happy. I'm happy with these people, you know. And so that was a beautiful moment, actually, to realise that a good motivation to do comedy is because you want to be around people like that who make who can crap on and on for an hour about what a joke is.
I'm afraid to take more than 2 weeks off from comedy. I still I can't. I'm afraid that if I take a 2 weeks break from stand up, I'm afraid that I won't be where I am.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not that far into comedy yet. And I'm just trying to start out.
Oh, you get cold. I mean, you get it's like a sport where you have to keep exercising, or you instantly start to lose tone and muscle and speed, and even instincts start to fade.
Yeah, but it feels really scary. Like I'm really surprised that people can take like off, like a huge like maybe a year off.
Yeah.
To do stand up, and or even a month off to do stand up. Like I got nothing else. I want to do this. Like I want to do this, and if I don't have anything, I got nothing else. I can do nothing.
Yeah.
Although my dad has, although I'm doing like a family business kind of thing, but I don't see myself like stop doing that and go, oh shit, right. But when I do stand up, I'm afraid to do that. I'm afraid to take a month off.
Yeah.
But there are times when I take 2 weeks off, I'm less bitter. I'm happier.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy to go up on stage.
Yeah.
I'm happier generally in life, and not going anywhere. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, but I can't want to do stand up myself. Like the bitterness feed me. Like the anger feed me.
Yeah. Well, I went to an open mic the other night, and there was just some really terrible shit happening on stage. That was just awful. Which you get that happens at open mics. There'll be people getting up and they're trying out. They're very, very, very new people doing very, very new material, and it's just awful, and you just want to hide, And I was just thinking, fuck, this is horrible. But then I thought, well, yeah, that's horrible, sure, but I'm here to work on my stuff, and so who cares, I could be at home just watching other people doing comedy on Netflix. Instead, I'm here learning how to do it myself. That's extremely cool, And that was like one of those nights where it's just like everybody ate shit, It was just a bad night. When that happens, that's fine, But there was no audience there to see it, so that's good.
Does bad nights occur often in Melbourne? Maybe does shit rooms occur often in Melbourne? Because it seems like everyone is complaining about like there are a lot of shitty rooms.
Complaining about shitty rooms,
there's a lot of shit nights going on because it feels like because the more nights you do, the more rooms you do per night. Yeah, it feels like there are more horror stories coming out from like.
Oh right,
like the lights is fucked, the sound is fucked.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, that's all good, the thing of shit nights, it's like, well, if you want to learn comedy, you actually don't want to be getting up in front of like really good audiences every night because you'll be spoiled because you don't learn anything from a bunch of people who want to laugh. What you get is a false sense of how brilliant you are.
I had this the last I hate to say this, but the last year I came because it's so good, the rooms are so good. I'm like, I can conquer Melbourne. I can
yeah.
And the last 3 days of doing it, I only had one decent show and one fairly okay show.
Yeah.
I've done 6 shows and I've done 6 spots. 4 of them are fucked.
Yeah.
And one of them, like the audience member, have to feel sorry for me and go, "You're well done." Like, yeah, okay, well done. I'm like, no, it isn't. It's horrible.
Yeah. No, oh God. Yeah. See, well, this is that there. That's it. That there is the reason to value open mics, because they're where you can go and just test everything out and make sure everything works, and keep trying out new stuff and what have you. And I mean, in my case, I'm only getting ready to do a fringe show in September, and then that show I will do in April for the comedy festival. They're my only goal. I'm not booking any gigs in between. Not interested in trying to book any gigs because trying to book gigs is a huge pain in the ass, And if I can just go to open mics and work on my material, then that's fine. Because I'm trying to work out how to be fucking brilliant at comedy. Yeah. So that's all good, you know. So when people say, the mic wasn't working and the light was shit, and there wasn't an audience, or there were an audience of just total dickheads. It's like, but that means that you get to try out all of your stuff in all sorts of different conditions. The only thing that doesn't change is you. You're the one who has to develop the ability to be able to make it work, no matter how hard it is. So it excites me. I have shitty open mics.
I've got to clarify the mics itself, right? The audience are nice people. They are very nice people.
Is this in Singapore?
In Melbourne. The last 6 spots I do.
Yeah.
The 5 of them they are very nice. One of them last night. I've done Lucky Chord.
Yeah.
I'm gonna censor out. Like I did this out later.
Lucky Cock's a hard one.
Yeah, so
it's a hard gig.
Yeah, and then I was like, there's hecklers, like one heckler and one person that's chatting up on stage. Yeah, and I can see the host last night. He doesn't want to deal with the hecklers. Yeah, and he ignored the hecklers. Yeah, for half a show. Yeah, like and the comics have to go out and deal with the hecklers. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, shit, right? And everyone is eating dicks up on stage, and there's this guy. It's a rough night, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, is it my material that's not doing well? That the light is blinding up on stage, and just you can't see anyone at all. Yeah,
they've got a very bright light there too. Yeah, it is. It's very blinding. It's very disorienting. There's lots of people potentially talking. If you don't just come out and just immediately get everyone's attention, which you've got to do in some really gentle, caring way, you can't just scream at them. So you got to grab everyone and draw them all in. And it's a tough gig. It's a hard one.
And the bouncer is not very helpful at all. They're not. Hey, can like I've to ask the table of hecklers to go. Hey, they're chatting really loud. Hey, can you just lower down the volume once? Hey, can you just lower down the volume twice? Hey, can you just try? I went up there at least 2 or 3 times. Yeah, and then I have to ask the bouncer. Hey, can you just help me? Just tell them to lower down the volume. Yeah, just say, no, you have to do it with yourself. Yep. And I remember going there, the alpha of the guy that wants to beat me up. I'm like, hey, go, hey, this is a comedy show. Like, you don't do school bullies, like school jocks. I go, So what are you gonna do now, huh? Yeah. And then you start speaking louder. Like okay, I'm sorry. Then you start speaking louder again. Yeah. Sorry, just speaking louder.
Oh my god.
I don't know. It's
Yeah. Here's I learned a trick at the Exford after party a few years ago, where it's during the comedy festival. It's late night. It doesn't start till about 10:30 every night. It's on 7 nights a week, late night, about an hour and a half of. It's basically an open mic. Yeah, so anyone can just turn up and sign up and get a spot. And it's historic. Well, they changed it this year. They actually brought a stage in and ruined it. Because before that, you would just do it in front of the sign that just tells you that they're having chicken schnitzels. Yeah, you just stand in front of the
Hey, if you don't like the comedy, that's chicken.
Yeah. And it's one of those gigs where people try all sorts of different ways to win the gig because people are really drunk, they're really inattentive, so I did it a bunch of times and had a horrible time. And then at some point during this festival, about 3 or 4 years ago, I started walking out. I would walk out, grab the mic, and then I would start saying hello to people. And I would walk around the front of the room. Because where you're standing, you're surrounded by the audience. So I'd walk up to people and I go, hi, hey, how you going? Hi, hello, hi. And I would just keep this up until everyone in the room shut up, including the people. There's a bar down the back that's another world, like disconnected from the stage and the audience completely, you know. But yeah, a really incredibly rowdy room. And after a while, I started to do this every night. Every night I would come out and say, hi, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's up? What's cooking? Hey, hi. And just gently saying hi to people. And they liked it. It's like, oh, who's this nice fella? He's all right, isn't he? Look at him. Look how friendly and polite he is. And they all would shut up and then sit there quietly. And then I would start telling jokes. And it was fucking great. It was so simple.
This feels like this feels like you're inviting them to a dialogue. You invite them to have a conversation with you, and it feels really rude. You go so, hey, hi, how are you doing? Like saying hi. And oh shit, he said hi to me. Now I have to sit down and listen to it.
I mean, it's this thing, man. It's getting away from trying to think of something clever, trying to be clever, and trying to impress people, and simply impressing them with the fact that you're just a person. I think, oh, well, they're impressed by the fact that you're just clearly a norm. You're not a dickhead. You know, it's like, oh, look, he knows how to say hello.
The thing that I do is when I go out on stage and just keep quiet.
Oh man,
That's so good.
when I started, I used to do that I did that for a while. I'd walk up, I'd be introduced, Sean Bedlam. I'd walk up and I'd grab the mic, and then I would just stand there and stare at the audience for quite a while. And it was I stopped doing it after a while because a lot of people got it and went, that's fucking great, that's awesome. But some people, I didn't realise that some people genuinely thought that I was having a breakdown, and that I couldn't remember what I was going to say first. You know, so someone said, "Oh, I thought you were just lost," and I thought, "Oh, that's no good. No, I better stop doing that." You know.
I do that before because it feels like it feels so powerful to just slowly take it out, put it back.
Yeah.
Just look at them, or just look at the floor. And then just try to recollect some stuff. People are talking. Isn't that scary? I'll wait and make them realize there's show going on.
Yeah.
But here right now, I got to think about it.
Yeah.
And people go, what? You can feel the tension is building up in the room, right?
Yeah.
You can feel the tension building up in the room and go, what is he trying to do?
Yeah. They're interested.
Yeah. And then go, okay, let's do it this way. And you build the vibe. And it's kind of like building the vibe to the room, to what I want, like how I want to, like how I
where you want it to be, where you want it to be, where you're into. Well, that's when I used to do that hello thing. That got the room to where I wanted it to be. So by the time I started telling a joke, not only was the room good enough to now be able to do comedy in, but it also made me feel extremely confident. Well, not extremely, it just made me feel confident. I guess for me, feeling confident is such an extreme experience. But I would just feel completely at peace. You know, it's like I'm at peace, I'm calm, I'm in control, I'm fucking awesome at what I do. This is going to be great, you know. And I'll just start having the out-of-body experience and start delivering the jokes. I mean, I that experience was so good that I honestly thought that comedy from that point on was just going to be smooth sailing. You know, I just thought that's it. I've cracked the code. I'm a brilliant comedian now. And that's terrible when you discover that that's not the case. It's ouch.
I know, but we have different ways of doing it, right? You have different ways of doing like okay, how what kind of vibe do I want to build up, really? Like it's been a while and I realized that my vibe is like it's awkward. There will always be tension in the room. But because for like how I expect comedy room to be, like when you walk into a room, it's grey. Like there's a light, there's a stage. It's grey in color. It feels like something wrong is going to go bad. It like if the police come and go, that you're sure that someone's gonna get arrested, and they'll ask you to be a witness, and that's the best case scenario. if it's like have you watched Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
You know where Jesse Pink, Jesse room house is like it's a math party. Like this is when I walk in there.
Yeah,
that is going to be what's happening. There's a little tension that's building.
Yeah,
everyone's very close and it's uncomfortably comfortable with each other. Like there's comfortable vibe to it. Like,
so to me, that's so for me that makes me think of like the reward for doing comedy is that you will get to hang out at parties where people will be smoking crack, you know, and it'll just be like, that's normal. Of course that's happening. Of course that's happening here because this house is full of fucking weirdos. Of course someone's smoking crack.
But so much fun to do the kind of room because if it's like one of the best way to get a person laugh is to break the tension, and when you go in a room. There's tension already building in there, and that's what that's what I want to do, right? Like keep breaking off tension.
Yeah. Well, I've tried a whole bunch of different ways because that thing of just setting up the experience before you even say anything on stage, and one of the things that I did for a while was that I would just simply. Write in my notebook until it was my turn to go on stage, like right up until the last second. I wouldn't pay attention to anything else that was going on in the room. I wouldn't talk to anyone. I would just sit there with my little notebook and just write notes and to make my brain just go quiet, make myself go really quiet and sort of still. So that when I heard my name, to go on stage or just walk out, and I'm completely calm, and that worked really well. I mean, one thing that I've started to get one thing that fascinates me is the thing that on the one hand you want to have really original jokes that no one else wrote. And then also you want to know how to carry yourself on stage or how to get yourself on stage so that once you're there, you've set yourself up right, and then you can just relax and just do whatever you want for the amount of time that you're on there, and that's absolutely beautiful because of that kind of thing, realising that that's where a lot of the juice is. I've been doing stuff like just going. I do a bit of exercise every day. Not tons, and it's not particularly strenuous. It's not very strenuous at all. But for about an hour and a half, just some pretty gentle exercise, and all it's meant to do is just to release tension and make me relax, and also get that boost you get from exercise, and just clear my mind. And I spend that whole time either thinking about jokes and writing them in my head, or listening to recordings, my recordings of the ideas for jokes.
Can you still listen? You still listen to recordings?
Sorry? No, these aren't recordings of gigs. No, I don't listen to gigs.
Oh, I can't listen to them anymore.
It's depressing.
It's like this gig is not doing well. Let's see what goes wrong.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to figure out, like, is it me or is it the audience member?
No, I think that's too painful. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to work. I know, but I don't want to give myself a fucking nervous breakdown listening to myself doing something stupid on stage. That's all.
Shit! Why did I do that? Why?
Yeah, no, it's punishment. I didn't get into this to be punished. If you work hard enough, you'll be good, But I think there's got to be ways to come at it that aren't built on anxiety, I've certainly, have had enough struggles with anxiety to realise that it doesn't create anything. It's bullshit. And there's a weird work mentality, a working mentality, that if you're enjoying yourself, you're not working, or that if you're not anxious, you're not working. I think, well, no, I don't want to spend the rest of my life being anxious. Life's hard enough as it is without being constantly feeling like you'd forgotten something. That's what a horrible way to live. So I go to the gym, and it's become increasingly an enjoyable experience for me to work on comedy and to write comedy. You know, like I'll lie on the couch with my notebook and I'll write one line, and then I'll sit there and think about it for 10 minutes, going back and forth over the line, trying to work out what's in there. Then I'll write another line.
Do you find
very
angle
relaxing.
easily? Do you find the way of you look at things? Is it easy to find like an angle of doing things? Because it take me like it would be either hit or miss, where I can immediately see an angle, or like there are times I have to wait for like 2-3 months, keep on thinking about it, then I'll find an angle to penetrate. Like this is what I already think about this thing, right? Is it hard to find an angle?
Well, that's what the kind of a relaxed, sort of meditative approach I've been working on for a little while now, particularly since I decided that I'm going to write a show. Write 50 minutes of brand new comedy. I find that sitting with an idea and literally sitting on a chair or on a couch, lying on a couch, and just rolling an idea around in my head for as long as it takes, like to the point where I'd start to go to sleep from boredom, and then I sort of start to wake back up again, and then I've start to have the idea, and it takes as long as it takes, but it's a matter of being prepared to do that for a couple of hours, at least a couple of hours, you know. And I do come up with the angles, you know, like I always come up with something that surprises me, and that's if I'm surprised, then the audience is going to be surprised, you know. Before that, what I used to do was I would just write a lot, you know, just pages and pages and pages and pages. But then you got to fucking read it all.
Oh, that's too much.
Which is like listening to your recordings of your shows. So what I'm trying to do is just write a little bit, so that I don't have to all this shit to sort through. So yesterday, over a period of an hour, I got the idea for one, I think, really good joke. Instead of recording, say, 20 minutes of audio, just talking into my voice recorder every time an idea occurs to me for an hour while I'm on the cross trainer. You know, 20 minutes of audio that will take me 6 hours to listen to while I'm taking notes, you know, what is that? Yeah. And it's like trying to write down every single idea that occurs to you based on another idea. And so you just end up with pages and pages and pages and pages and pages and books of just stuff that you can't really use. Yeah, it's sort of interesting, but it's not. So yeah, I'm really starting to get into just doing it in my head as much as possible.
I've been doing that for quite some time, and I realized that if you have an idea in your head, and when you start talking to it inside your head, I get distracted very easily. So I usually just write an original idea, like write the idea, like a sentence, like to summarize what I want to say. Right, it's like there's the Facebook thing, where I try to put it like at Facebook. First point, why it annoys me. And second point, like this is why it's funny. Like 3 sentences sum up the whole joke, and I can build it in there. I guess like I can see, like then I'll look at things and go, oh, so this is how it goes. This is how it goes. This is how it goes. And then I try to write it out. I try to see where this thing goes after writing it out.
Yeah, well, it sounds like that's good. That's you're planting seeds right there at the start. And they your brain grows the seeds, and away you go. And it should always result in something good. I think, you know, because stand-up comedy is hard, but jokes aren't particularly hard.
I don't know. I think jokes are hard. I think jokes are hard. Stand up is okay.
Right.
Yes, because I'm not sure. Jokes are like seeds that you want to. I don't know. It feels like stand up is easier because writing jokes you have to expect like what the audience know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not the kind of guy who wants to tap on stereotypes. I'm not the one who likes to tap on sexism.
Yeah.
I want to be that kind of guy where goes out on stage and present you a piece of information,
Mm-hmm.
and this is how I feel, and the emotion connection, and go.
Yeah.
I can agree with you. That's why I laughed.
Yeah.
Like I can relate to you. That's why.
Yeah.
I laughed. I don't know. It's like I don't want to go out on stage and insert a racial stereotype. And people go, ha ha ha, that's so true, right?
Yeah, it's the worst.
Here's a racial stereotype for you.
Yeah.
And that's so funny because it's so true. Yeah. And that's so funny because it's so true.
Yeah.
Here's a racial stereotype.
That's horrible. So tedious. So tedious, isn't it? Here's a thing we've all seen. Good. Now we're a group. Let's go and kill some people together.
Put them out on the burning cross wearing like a white robe talking out.
Yeah. Lowest common denominator. Fucking hell.
I don't know. All right. I think I should end this. It's an hour 42 minutes of recording.
How long?
It's an hour of 42 minutes.
Holy shit. All right.
That's a lot of recording.
That's a lot of recording. It's a lot of talking. Holy.
like it's one of the top amount of record like talking now.
Yeah.
Like it's usually an hour and a hour.
I'm very happy, man. It's great to just have the opportunity to be incredibly self-indulgent. It's wonderful. I feel so good right now. I'm gonna float out into the street. I'm free. All my burdens lifted off me. Thank you, man. Thank you, Gary.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna ask right before I end. Right, I'm gonna ask like, is there any website or anything they want to plug me? You want me to plug in? Or is there like a
Twitter? You can find me on Twitter.
All right,
doing loose, poorly thought out stuff that is not at all representative of my comedy. It's all true.
All right. So, what's the Facebook, Twitter page?
Sean Bedlam.
Sean Bedlam. All
Sean
right.
Bedlam
Sure.
on Twitter. Awesome.
Okay. Ken. All right. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.